Watching news at Prime, let's get into another important conversation. The Western Cape government has expressed concern over what it says is an alarming number of deadly road crashes. 28 people, including 12 pedestrians, have lost their lives in the province since the start of the December month. Western Cape Mobility MEC is Isaac Sileku, and he joins us from the wilderness part of the Western Cape province. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you very much for your time. 28 people, and we're only sitting at the 15th of December today, and I worry that that number could possibly rise, as I'm sure the residents there as well. What is the plan? What is the plan to reduce road fatalities? Because this is part of what keeps the transport minister awake at night.
Yeah, good evening, Paul, and good evening to your viewers. Paul, I must say, within the first week, we saw our numbers rising. And as you see today, we've got about 55 fatalities. And of the 55, we got 27 pedestrians. And I must say, Paul, from the side of the province, we have deployed our officers on all our major routes. We have done VCPs, we have done K78s, and even today I was in Mossel Bay and we had a VCP where we're actually stopping each and every vehicle to make sure that the vehicles are roadworthy and those that are, and make sure that people are not under the influence, people are not speeding. From the side of the mobility department, we have done, and even our municipalities, we are everywhere. But we still find ourselves, fighting this battle alone because it seems like, our road users don't adhere to what we expect from them, to help us as government to make sure that we bring down our fatalities.
And it is always said, MEC, that the human element is part of what is a contributing factor in many of these accidents. Before we talk about the driver behavior, let's talk about pedestrians, because that's also part of the larger number of people that get knocked down by vehicles. I'm noticing a trend, at least in Gauteng, where I live. There are people who walk on highways. And I wonder if the Western Cape is experiencing same. Jaywalking is not allowed, unless I'm remembering incorrectly. In fact, it is a criminal offense. If you are caught walking on the highway, you can be arrested and charged. Do you experience same there? I'm not saying that that's when pedestrians are knocked. You'll tell us why it is that the number of them is increasing every so often. But what is your experience there?
Can you just to break down the stats, if in terms of our pedestrian fatalities, which is currently standing at 27, you'll find 21 of those is happening on the municipal routes, which gives you an indication that, people go to the places where they enjoy themselves. And unfortunately, they will go back without using Uber, and then they will jaywalk. And then some of the issues or contributing factors is the fact that some of the settlements are actually next to our highways. Just today, while we're having an operation in Mossel Bay, you could see people, running up and down the highway. We had to send police just to say to people, you're not even allowed to do that. But we keep on seeing these things happening on our routes and on our national routes every day, where people walk every day. They cross when it's not safe. And it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in that situation. And unfortunately, we do actually try to, to warn people you're not supposed to do that. And if we find you, we've done it in the city of Cape Town, where we found people actually crossing our national routes without, the right. And then we apprehended them and then we take them to court. But, that it's a human behavior that needs to change, because people keep on doing the thing that we're not expecting them to do. As much as we have built bridges, as much as we have, pedestrian crossings, people just don't, work with us as government, and they don't assist us. They just do as they like. And as a result, they put their lives at risk. That's why you find our numbers going up.
It's a worrying development indeed. Let's then conclude on driver behavior. I'm not so sure what it is about public education that government needs to do more of in order to dissuade people from drinking and driving and just not exceed the speed limit? What do you think can be done to influence driver behavior so that people drive in accordance with the speed limit and not do what I've just mentioned above, drinking and driving?
From our side, we really, we have an education and awareness every time and every opportunity we get. We even use the media. Just this morning around 3 a.m., people were on the road fixing a burst tire. And then unfortunately, someone, just drove into them, and as a result, we lost 2 people. And those are the kind of challenges that we are confronted with. And people must also try to understand that, for us to be able to make a dent in our fatalities, it would start with us as road users. We need to understand that we're not supposed to speed. We must stick to the speed limit. And if we are under the influence, we are not supposed to be behind the steering wheel. And, but we keep on finding the same thing that we are actually, raising awareness about. People saying, just ignore it, and they are on our roads, under the influence, they keep on speeding. Even in the province, the highest speed currently is 165 in 120 kilometers per hour. It's an indication that people don't listen to our campaigns. People do as they like, and they don't think that, or they don't believe that road safety starts with me as an individual if you really want to be a dent. And we really urge, our road users to be on the lookout for pedestrians, and they must also be on the lookout for other road users, because road safety is everybody's responsibility. And we as government have tried everything in our power to make sure that we are visible on our roads. We have deployed our traffic officers, and the municipalities are doing the same. But we feel as if that we are fighting this battle alone, as our road users are not working with us. And the message is not spreading, wide enough to make sure that we are able to bring back down our numbers.
2 quick points before I shut the conversation down, MEC. What's going to possibly fix it? Are you pinning your hopes on the demerit system that we're told is going to soon become operationalized, because perhaps that could knock some sense into people's heads when they start losing their licenses?
Bongi, that's one of the things that we are hoping is going to help us in making sure that we are able to save lives. The implementation of ARTO, and we are really helping our municipalities to make sure that by the time it comes to implementation, that all our municipalities, are ready for implementation. And secondly, I just spoke to my chief director for traffic management, and I've always been saying that I would really want to bring in something within the province to make sure that I compel, vehicles in the province to go for roadworthiness. Because I think that's something that we also need to do to make sure that vehicles that are on our roads are actually roadworthy, and they are not a risk to our commuters, and they are not a risk to other road users. If we're able to do that and compel people before they actually renew their licenses or of their discs, that they must go for roadworthiness, that will actually help us. And ARTO is also going to be another measure, that we can actually assist us in making sure we bring down our fatalities in the province.
Finally, therefore, there are those who are in the business of ferrying passengers on the long distance travel. And at a time like this, you will have people being transported from the Western Cape to the Eastern Cape province. I'm talking the buses, I'm talking taxis. Those have to be roadworthy if you are ferrying members of the public. And they know this, the people involved here. How severe a penalty is going to be if their vehicles are found to be unroadworthy?
Now, firstly, when it comes to roadworthiness, I can just give you a typical example. While we had our operation this morning, we found one vehicle that was unroadworthy. Unfortunately, we have to act as law enforcement officers, and we discontinued that disc. That's what we do. If we find your vehicle not to be roadworthy, we discontinue the disc and we give you 14 days to go for roadworthiness, and that's what we are going to do. But also one thing that we picked up, during this festive season is an element of fatigue. We have seen a lot of trucks overturning on our roads and actually causing congestion on our main roads. And also from the minibus taxis, I must say there has not been a lot, in terms of minibus taxis overturning and incidents of that. So which means they're actually, listening to what we are saying, but we've just seen something that is never been seen before, where our trucks are overturning on our roads. And that is something that we have to look at, and that's why we are going to put emphasis in making sure that we look at roadworthiness and during our operations. And then if we find you are not roadworthy, you are not supposed to be on the road, we discontinue your disc and we don't compromise and we don't negotiate, because safety and saving of lives is a priority for us.
Isaac Sileku, the MEC of Mobility in the Western Cape, thank you very much for your time tonight.